So it's Liège-Bastogne-Liège with Schelmoser in the wheels. Also Ciccone is there. Pidcock is prepared to ride on the outside there. UAE are getting a bit swamped with the fight that's going on. The team of EF now go onto the climb of La Redoute. Now UAE take control. There's the profile, the vital statistics of one of the most famous climbs in the classics. Aleph on the left-hand side. We see Ben Healy moving forward. Are we going to see an attack of Healy? Pidcock is almost holding himself back. Here goes the attack. The world champion just starts to ride away and no one follows. The tornado strikes on La Redoute and there is nobody who's able to even go with the acceleration of the world champion, and he just demolishes the peloton.
When he took the way that riders is just starting to fade, the Olympic champion, well, I'm sad to say it's not going to be the day of Remco Evenepoel, I think. Given his body language, given it where he is.
Trying to come back now, Giulio Ciccone. Pidcock goes, so does Alaphilippe, so does Ben Tullet, he goes. But they've just literally watched the world champion not even get out the saddle and just ride away from them as he just pedals away. 15% gradient, he looks like he's out on a little Sunday ride to get a cake and a cup of coffee. Julian Alaphilippe responds. Going with him is Giulio Ciccone, but it's a form. In fact, Alaphilippe is starting to close the gap. Look at the way that Alaphilippe is riding on this climb. Well, he may not have been able to respond to the initial kick, but Alaphilippe is able to respond now, and he's starting to come back. Tries to jump across now with Alaphilippe. Ben Healy is there. They're over the top of the Col de la Redoute. We need to strike now and get across to him. Here's Remco Evenepoel. He's having a bad day so far.
It's a mighty, mighty chase. And if everyone commits and you've got the cohesion, this is not over at 13 seconds.
Here's Remco. Yeah, it's just... he just peels off to the side and just goes. Remco Evenepoel just not having one of those days, is he? Do you almost sense they need more riders here into this headwind once they get over the next part, or...?
Particularly as you come in as one of the big favourites. But again, what he's been through in the winter, in the peloton, pretty scattered around.
20 kilometres to go. And remind us, Hannah, from now, block headwind all the way.
I mean, you traverse your way back towards Liège, but on the whole, you've got a...
I am really surprised how many riders are still here.
Me too.
Pidcock taking over now. Ciccone and Ben Healy. Ciccone attacks. Big attack of the King of the Mountains of the Tour de France. Ciccone makes his move now to try and go across. Remco Evenepoel was having a terrible, terrible day.
You're quite right. You really feel for a rider in this kind of situation when everything he's come back from.
It's just not his day. He's going to stop.
He's going to stop. I think another little bit before you make that right-hand turn and then take the right-hand turn onto the main road where you start to descend. And that's, again, you know, he's going to be into that direct headwind all the way into the finish before he...
He's almost at the top. Healy and Ciccone, very different pedalling styles. Pogacar, the world champion, makes his way up the finish straight. 600 metres to go. He hasn't celebrated yet, but he checks around and he carries. This rider attacked with 34.6 kilometres to go. It wasn't really an attack, he just literally rode away. The high fives of the crowd now for the world champion, because this year in all 4 monuments he's been on the podium, and now he wins 3 Liège-Bastogne-Liège. The world champion points to the sky in memory of Ershka's mum, I'm sure, written on the numbers on his back. And it looks to me like Ineos Grenadiers are trying to put a rider on the podium because they've got a number of riders in there. Sheffield starts to lead out.
Axel Laurent still there for the Ineos Grenadiers, but trying to sprint for the second place here between Healy and Ciccone. Ciccone's got the edge.
Giulio Ciccone is going to give Liège-Bastogne-Liège second place in Liège-Bastogne-Liège.
Bernice Good finish, almost blanket finish for Lidl Trek from the, what you could call the peloton. But this man, what can you say? What a champion, what a rider, what a generation we're witnessing.